Hello everyone, how are you today? I am Gabriele and welcome to my channel. I hope everything is alright, because I am more than fine. Punch Packet today on the Isle official Discord server posted many things because it's that time of the month. Basically, we just have to click on their Steam and we get here basically. You will find all the links in the description below. Now, Devblog number 9, full steam ahead. Felipe Tessaro will start this basically Devblog. It's the lead programmer and is saying basically that the desync was the main issue on public builds since we went on a quick vacation. In the end, we found out the main issue behind. That's really good. So the desync may be solved or not yet, but it's going to be tackled and solved in the very near future. This desync was we found out the main issue behind it, which was a tool that helps with performance, so that's good. Took some time for me to find the exact piece of code in the engine that was causing that. The lack of documentation is a big problem in those cases. Fortunately, I found something and managed to decrease the desync issue, which can still be tracked and improved more, hopefully. So we are going to see Evrima not only improved by less teleports, less lag, less desync, but even the performance while we play the Isle is going to be improved. We also updated the engine to the latest version, which broke a few things and created more bugs. Some of them are still in-game right now, like a strange sound stuttering for some people. We are investigating and we will send an update as soon as possible. Unreal Engine now updated to version 4.26. Please check it out. I will leave a link on the description below about the main big thing of Unreal Engine 4.26. Thank you again, Ernamke, for letting me know. It's a huge improvement for Unreal Engine. The water, the mechanics for water and everything, they look amazing. Please check it out in the description below. The link in the description below. Besides that, the work continues as always, combating bugs, crashes, and working on new features and dinosaurs. Deinosuchus and Ptera are taking a little longer this time because their gameplay is very different from most animals in game, and we want to make it right. I've been working on Deinosuchus mostly, with its different ways to interact with food and combat, especially the lunge ability. This ability is similar to Pounce in some aspects, but won't be an automatic ability. The player will have the time to time the lunge with bite. So basically you have to press a button to lunge yourself at the prey, and after you have to press the bite at the right time to actually grab the prey. Also, this ability has different effects when swimming in deep water, shallow or even on land. So we players, I think we must expect different animations or different effects for the Deinosuchus lunge in water, on land, or in the shallows, basically. Wow, they are going to make it very good. DM4th programmer, sorry if I don't say that right, Mr. DM4th or DMIV. An issue that affected many of our players is that sometimes players get out of sync with the server and they see your character running in a correct direction. At this time, they are able to attack and damage you before they receive a correction from the server. This led to many annoyances because players were taking damage unfairly. I addressed this issue by adding a server-side validation. I have no idea what that means. Hopefully this will reduce your frustration when playing the game. Okay, what I can paraphrasing here, if I understood this correctly, is that player A and player B, they play on the same server, but they are actually having two different type of action gameplays of actions. So one is biting while the other one is in a safe spot. While the one who is biting, player B, thinks that it's actually biting it, player B thinks it's safe. So it's actually not receiving damage by his point of view. Instead, DM4th made some, I think, adjustments to for player B to take a little bit of damage, not all, and player A will not actually kill player B. I think that's what I understand. So it's like getting to a fair point of view in the middle ground, let's say. That's what I understand it. So it's good. There were a few methods that people could use to safe log instantly. It was quite annoying to track down what was happening exactly, and it turns out that those cases are treated as a kick by the engine instead of a standard disconnection. I added a check to make sure that the instant safe log only happens when someone was kicked for real. Okay, I guess that means from when we receive the disconnection from the server, when we are kicked out of the server. I don't think a month goes by without me touching our animation blueprint. I made several new improvements, especially to diving. With Deinosuchus coming, I bet. It feels much better now, and I also addressed some more specific cases. I also spent much time setting up the water walking system. What it means is that the animal detects the ground when swimming and uses its legs to walk when close enough. That's really cool. So I guess when I am playing, let's say, a terrestrial animal like Carnotaurus, and I am like this tiny bit from the ground, I'm going to walk. Maybe I will just be like a magnet to the ground, and I can walk on the ground. Even I will not be anymore waist deep, but a little bit more than waist deep, and I will be able to walk. I guess that's what I understand. Plus, walking system. Now, another new mechanic for the Deino is called water sense. This lets you detect vibrations in the water you are in. It's a passive ability, but you can hold the send key, Q by default, to extend your detection range when stationary. Wow, is it like I can see other people's movements in the water away, so I can go straight there and eat them? That's awesome. There were a few other smaller changes, like the Deinosuchus claw being usable repeatedly or mid-chunks being sentable. There are still several features in the works that we need time to work on, but I expect that we will be able to get them in your hands soon. I hope you are as excited as I am to work on them. I can wait. You are doing a fantastic job. Thank you. Wedge, sound designer. This past month has seen me creating and implementing sounds to the new mechanics being introduced to both the Deinosuchus and Pteranodon, as well as creating more suitable foley. I guess, is that foliage? Yep, I think so. Considering these two are the first water-based and first flight-based additions to Evrima. This has involved creating bespoke sounds that fit the unique circumstances for each of these creatures. Yeah, you are doing a great job then. All the dev team, Wedge, DM Fourth, wow. The Pteranodon flight sounds have been improved, adding more variations in the strength of the wing flaps and dynamic system based on velocity to accompany. So I guess we are gonna hear the Pteranodon flapping, Pteranodon wind resistance when flying. That's depending on the speed of the Pteranodon. That's what I understand. That's going to be very cool. When velocity is slow, the flap sounds are slightly stronger, and vice versa. A flight wind system has been introduced, also controlled by the velocity of a rushing wind sound when diving or falling. Subtle wind whoosh sounds have been created for movements where players are passed by a Pteranodon and are ready to be implemented. So basically, I am a Utahraptor and a Pteranodon flies by me. I'm gonna hear a whoosh of wind around me. That's great. Okay. Although the new wind system does achieve this Doppler effect, I think the combination of a systemic approach layered with recordings will further improve the believability, the credibility. Okay. For the Deinosuchus, a lot of attention has gone into its unique water sounds, taking into account that the sounds need to suit the movement, but also be subtle enough that it is viable for the creature to hunt undetected. Okay, it's gonna be a great ambush predator. This Deinosuchus, from what I understood, it's gonna get close to the prey without making any sound or very little sound. depending on the speed you're going, whether walking or not, or trotting in the water, some type of swimmings. Now, the introduction of animations for the water walking will allow me to also play subtler sounds. At the moment, walking in shallow waters uses the land walking animations. Consequently, the conventional footstep sounds are played for this surface type, okay, which does not reflect how the sound should behave. However, more expressive splash sounds have their place for the Deinosuchus, such as with its lunge ability. Because the Deinosuchus introduces lots of potential for underwater gameplay, the underwater ambience and sound mix have been adjusted and will continue over the coming weeks. However, they are not currently implemented correctly for all water bodies, which will be addressed as well. In addition, lots of underwater supplementary sounds have been created and are gradually being implemented to support the audio immersion of underwater gameplay. They are doing a great job. It's Deinosuchus with the water gameplay and the Pteranodon with the flight gameplay. It's like game changing, and it's a lot of work. It's like a new Evrima for the developers to create. So I hope that this update 3 would come out by the end of January, but I am very happy that it's going to take slower, because they are going to give us a fantastic update number 3. Thank you so much. Now, Visual Tech 48 Environment Modeler. This month has been a test of patience. The new redacted perimeter fences are going as expected. There is a lot of testing to be done constantly, and it's been a wild ride so far with all the fixes with it. But all in all, going the direction we want. Yeah. These fences require some more additional planning, as said, and in its textures, in which I have made a whole new trim kit alongside a new concrete base. Oh, that's cool. Let me see. I want to see this new concrete base. Is it this one, the concrete base? No, I don't think so. Or maybe yes. I'm gonna check it. Maybe it's a surprise. That alongside a new really cool and simple animated model that should be coming at some point, which some might have seen, the satellite dish tower, which has a lot of joints, and I do believe is a model that I pushed myself even further to get it detailed properly in a constrained time. So it worked out really cool. This is the dish tower. It looks pretty cool. And this dish tower must be connected to this concrete facility, or I guess this must be kind of entrance point somewhere behind, and here humans with their rifles pointing at dinosaurs. I don't know. I'm just guessing. This is a door for the fence, I guess, for these fences, like the entrance door for big trucks for the human characters entering in the Isla Spiro with their rifles on, pointing at every angle. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Now, Bardo, Dinosaur Modeler. Over the last few months, I've been working with a concept team to create elder versions of various playable species in the game. From a design perspective, it was a bit of a tightrope, as we found it important to make the elder versions easily identifiable from their adult counterparts, which also being similar enough in shape and proportion so they could reuse animations. Alright, I understand it. Care was also taken to make sure that they worked with the existing topology so that there is minimal technical overhead to their implementation. All in all, it proved to be quite fun to take the already monster-fied dinos and make them even more gnarly and monstery. So I guess size won't change that much, and feet, let's say, or mouth or tail for Stegosauruses, they won't change that much as the current adult version, but they are going to be different somehow to be identified as elders. I'm going to do a separate episode for elders, so I'm going to quickly scroll down by here. We can see Carno, Oviraptor, Ipsi, etc., etc. I'm going to do a separate episode for elders because they deserve it. Tapwing, concept artist. We've all heard about Tapwing in these few months. If I had to sum up, Cantrop, it's our smaller, faster, more offensive Stegosaurid. I used a blend of oryx and porcupine as references for this one, somewhat elegant and very standoffish. I think so. We've seen the centaurs basically here eating, must be very offensive with little health, maybe more maneuverable than Stegosaurus. It's going to be a great implementation to the roster of the Isle, which will change a little bit the gameplay actually. There is a few ways we could go about attack abilities on this one. A sweeping tail strike as opposed to our Stegosaurus stabbing strike. The shoulder check, boom, with a spike here, and something in the vein of a defensive stance, creating a named wall of spines to fend off foes. But we will have to see how that goes programming wise. So I guess they're gonna, from what I understand here, actually Kentrosaurus will counterattack the damage it receives, will give back some of the damage it receives depending on where it is attacked, or something like that. Am I wrong? If you have different opinions, please let me know in the comment section below. And I'm here instead a powerful Pakisephalosaurus, chubby looking yet nothing but muscle. I largely just referenced bighorn sheep for this guy. Territorial, highly competitive, and ready to show down against anything around its size. In the way of abilities, we have the famous charge and bone-crushing head strike. These will come actually with, if I mistake not, let me double check with Trello. Yeah, with update 4 with the perk system and the fracture system. So when this dino will be introduced, many bone breaks will be around. Alright, then Kiss and Kitten, producer. This month for me has run me a little rat, but not in a bad way, I suppose. It's been filled to the top with documents, animations, and interview processes. For the team, although a lot of production time went into getting the current hotfix to live, which is the sync issue, I remember you, I am still very pleased with the team's forward momentum on Update 3. My time in regard to Update 3 has been solidly spent on prototyping and polishing. I lift the veil a little on how that shakes down for those interested. Forgive me if you have heard it before. So, we first start with the mechanics themselves on paper or on screen in this sense. After the mechanics have been decided upon, the animation team enters into the prototyping phase, during which Brian and I come up with how we think the motion should look like when performing that particular action. Sometimes there's crude MS painting drawing involved. Okay. The prototypes are made quickly and usually lack a lot of the polish we like our animation to have in their more complete iterations. Okay, so they basically polish the movements, the animations, they give their feedback to the animators, I guess, or they themselves change it. The reason being that we do not want to spend too much production time on animation that may turn out to be a complete dud for the action in game. Sometimes the idea and the final result do not align, so prototypes must always be a rough draft to save on production time. The prototype is very rarely what you see in the final version you get to play as. Once we have complemented it, we send it over to the programming team and they plug in the prototype animation into the mechanics they're building for that creature. Yeah, basically they give their feedback. Once they play it, they do some twitch, then they give it back to the programmers. Now, some tweaking is often needed, so a lot of prototyping in both animations and programming have gone into the Deino's numerous lunges and modes of locomotion, as well as the Ptera's skimming there, flying blends, landings, jumps, and more. However, once we have the basic foundation set for how we want those abilities to generally look and the mechanic function is behaving how they want, then we lean hard into polishing up those prototypes and turning them into final versions. Basically, they are taking a long time to polish Deinosuchus and Pteranodon because they are a brand new gameplay for the game. One, the water gameplay, and the other one looks at the flight gameplay. But both will involve also more animations for other dinosaurs, more like sounds to be heard by other dinosaurs and so on. Now, closing remarks. Now that we are back from our holiday break, we are refreshed, eager and roaring to go. Whilst we've had a few bumps in the road in terms of performance, improvements still ongoing, the Pteranodon and Deinosuchus are shaping up to be our most mechanically intricate playables yet. And we are all incredibly excited to see what shenanigans you all get up to, or which fight we get up to, basically. That will wrap it up for this month, folks. Look forward to seeing you in February. So, in February, for sure, sooner or later, we are going to receive update 3 with Deinosuchus, fishing fishers, and the flying Pteranodon. So thank you, Punch Packet. If we go on the public roadmap on Trello, we can see that Pteranodon is 37 out of 46, and the Deinosuchus is 30 out of 46. So they have gone further in development. If you go on their Discord, we can see what they have done new for update number 3. Basically, all the animations and some mechanics of ragdoll and grab pickup for the Deinosuchus. Instead, Pteranodon, they've done the grab and pick up mechanic. Now, that would be cool for the Pteranodon to grab a small hatchling and just launch it mid-air, but I don't know if that's gonna be the case for Pteranodon if we actually want it. Now, that was all for this video. If you liked it, please make sure to share it to everybody, like it, and subscribe my channel if you haven't done that yet. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.